Hello, and welcome back to some more Rune Factory 2. We've got a lot of time to go before we can actually get the things that we need. So let's call it a bed. Do, 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 do. Oh, hey, it's raining. Just a normal old rain. Why is that not working? Just a normal another old rainy day. Do, 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 do. Do, do. Do I have to reload because the field hadn't actually been watered properly? I don't know. Probably doesn't matter so much. How are the animals doing? Total feed's 32.87. Yeah, I got a fair bit of feed. Okay. No. I got this. I got this. I have a plan. I got this. It's cool. So today's episode, like usual, I don't really have anything to talk about. No new games I've been playing, no new stuff I've been doing. Only 10 more mining levels to go until I'm done with that, so that'll be pretty darn cool, I would think. So what is there to discuss? Nothing. And that's why I've been kind of delaying actually recording this. Haven't particularly been doing anything, haven't been going for anything. I did see something interesting get recommended. Someone had said that, like, while playing webcam commander games, people say, like, oh, such and such, you know, commander deck that, like, steals cards, whatever. Well, that's lame to play because you can't actually, like, use the people's cards. You'd have to, like, write them out on, you know, on an infinite token, because everybody uses those, and I don't know why I'm being so sarcastic. I'm trying to be so snide about those. I am neutral towards infinite tokens. Almost bought them for myself once. So it's like, okay, well, you know. But then they revealed, it's like, no, I just have a little printer, and I just print out whatever cards I steal or copy. And I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to get something like that for myself, which turns out I could. But also, there's no real point to that. No real need to get something like that, so why really? Alright, so entire bar got about 1/6, 1/7? Something like that. That's alright. So yeah, I was looking up, again, stuff like that. Looking up, because that's what I like, right? Like, accessory stuff, tech stuff that's useful, and I was looking up, like, other tech stuff that was currently on sale to see stuff that I might like. I found you can just get, like, a portable dishwasher, like, just a thing that you just put on the counter, fill it up with water, put dirty dishes in, and just clean them up. But those things are like $400, and I'm like, I think I would rather just wash all of my dishes by hand than to, one, pay $400 for a thing that, two, I don't know if it'll even clean the dishes, and three, will probably wind up breaking at some point. So it's like, it's not like, you know, I have a whole family to take care of to wash dishes for. It's just me. I don't use a ton of dishes over the course of the day. We think about, like, 3 meals in a day. So, and my meals are onto, like, okay, a bowl of this, a plate of that, a mini bowl of this, you know, use 3 forks and 6 knives. Like, no, it's one bowl, one cutlery. That's it. Usually just like one bowl and my fork, or a bowl and a spoon. Usually a bowl and a fork. and then just wash that like 3 times a day. Wash my cooking pot. Heck, many days. I just actually, I don't, many meals I wind up using like the air fryer. But it's like, if I make stew, that's like, okay, I wash the knife and the cutting board once everything is done. Alright, sure. And then throughout the day, I just use 1 bowl and 1 fork. Oh yeah, and a scoop. So, you know, wash the bowl, wash the fork, wash the scoop, cutting board, and a knife. That's 5 things to wash for an entire day's worth of food. Not exactly a ton of stuff to be washed. But I still like... I don't know. Anyway. It's like... It's still an interesting thing. There's so many different, like, little, tiny little printers, and, like, I don't know, like, how well each of them work, but you can get, like, thermal printers that don't use ink, but they can only print in black and white, and it's like, would that actually be worth it? It would be really nice to get some little printer that can print on, like, cardstock that you could use for, like, proxies and stuff, and because the printer that I'd gotten, or, you know, paid into getting, whatever, a few years ago, doesn't actually print on the proper cardstock, so making proxies with it is not a great idea. But also, like, what's really the point in making proxies of cards? I only have, like, the few decks. It's like, meh. If I need to print out a whole deck, I can use the, like, semi-cardstock stuff that I have. You run away. Yeah, no, nothing. It looks like all of the daily stuff has already been done, so that's cool. So everything is no big deal. Just trying to think of games. That Rune game, I could go and play a bit more of it. Like always, I always want to have, like, more games to just be completed. Play some games, actually complete some games, have a bunch of games ready to go to upload at any given time. But I'm still, like, I don't want to binge Baldur's Gate 3 or Rune Factory 2. Like, the idea of the semi-daily games is to, you know, have games that I actually want to, like, binge. And have binged. Like, Crystal Project or Pokemon, where I actually did want to spend, you know, 10, 20, 30 hours just playing that one game. Just spend a whole bunch of time playing one game, and then just go, okay, cool. Boom. Set all that to upload. Alley-oop. Oh, I wonder if there are any products that would work with the... that help with the recording. The... like, if I wanted to, you know, binge record some, like, board game or something. I mean, yeah, I can think of at least one thing. Get, like, a nice insulated box for the microphone, so there isn't so much echo. Because my living... yeah. My actual proper recording room, not so much echo. The living room, lots of echo. And I can't bring the table for tabletop games in here. Well, technically I could, but I'm not gonna. Alley-oop. I already have, like, extension cables for, like, the keyboard and mouse. So I can use those on a... there, at a distance. So that's good, that's useful. It's like, I don't know what... ever since I failed to go to the pony convention, I've been wanting, like, something to almost, like, make up for it. Like, oh, hey, instead of spending, you know, $100 on that, especially since I got the, like, all of the money back from my, plane ticket. It's like, okay, well, I should spend that on something. Huh, little brother's playing games. Oh, I was playing games with a friend. I don't know why I have one of my little brother's friends as a friend on Steam. So don't ask me why. But I do. How about Steam games basically on sale? Yeah. Azure has been really focusing on us, like, playing that one Minecraft mod pack, like, quite a bit lately. I've just been like, man, we've gone almost basically everything in it already. There's not much more that we actually have to do. So it's like, okay, now what? Like, we have the ability not so much to fly, but we have, like, elytras and, like, a boost spell. So we can essentially fly, just not, you know, hover. All of the magic spells that we could want. I can create an orbit around myself that summons... what are they? Elves? Elves? Or whatever? Little pixie fighter things. Little fighter spirits. And then, whenever I cast, so make a spell that makes an orbit around myself that whenever it contacts a mob, will summon an elf. But whenever I cast that spell, the spell will also be cast for all of my elves. So they will all create rings that will also summon more of them. But that requires a bit of a summoning cooldown, so I can't just necessarily summon as much as I want that way, blah blah blah. But instead I could make a spell that summons basically a copy of myself, and then all of the summons of myself will also make more summons of myself. And since they count as mobs, all I have to do is, like, summon this ring thing around myself, and then just touch a mob with it, and then just keep casting this spell. My summons rings, like, you know, contact each other, and they just keep summoning more of myself just over and over again. And once I've got about 20 or 30 of myself, basically once I run out of mana, at, like, you know, a few dozen of myself standing around as targets for all the enemies, I then pull out my trident and attack for, I think if I get lucky, I can hit for, like, 100 damage in one hit. It's pretty useful. Yeah, I feel like the clovers are going to be stuck at this stage for longer than they were at the seed stage. Yeah, farming is 95. This is still only 89. Yep. And so this is a difficult, this is a bit difficult to explain. there are some games where it's easier to record episodes than other games. And it seems difficult to explain because I put supposedly the same amount of effort into any given game. Like, 1 hour of playtime-ish, and then that's one episode. And it's like, okay, well, why are some easier than others? That doesn't make any sense. Except that with some games, an hour of playing the game is like nothing. Like, this game, an hour of playing the game is basically 2 full days. On average. And it's like, okay, that's like, you know, do all of your dailies and drain all of your energies like twice, basically. And it's just like, I'm doing the same things over and over and over again, so it's boring. Some, like, magic craft can be exciting. You know what I should do again for an episode? I should do some Noita. I should get Azura on recording and show us some Noita. Because that game was exciting to play, and I'm sure we could get a few hours done. And again, it would still take a few hours, but we could get a few hours done and be excited about it, as opposed to, like, yeah, more Rune Factory 2. Like, I would surely not still be playing this game if it wasn't for the fact that I'm doing recordings. Alley. I know part of what makes this game so boring is, yeah, I'm fighting all these monsters with just a watering can. If I use, like, a proper weapon, it would probably be a lot easier to actually, you know, fight this little wave of enemies that I've basically been stuck at. And then I wouldn't have to worry nearly so much. And everything would be so much easier. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, that's right. But also, if I wasn't using only the watering can, I'd probably have already beaten the game and moved on to something else. Which could be a good point or a bad point. Because, I mean, essentially, once I beat Rune Factory 3, like, that's it for mainline Rune Factory content. There's nothing else to do. One thing that I've had the idea for a lot, and I think would be nice, is to do, like, recorded Commander games. Get some people, you know, talk out the game ahead of time, get their permission to record the gameplay, and like, okay, hey, you know, let's all play a nice game together. Yeah, do it on, like, Spell Table or something. It's like, okay, you know, and just generally be good about it, but of course that would rely on finding people who are actually, you know, accepting of that and want to put in the bit of extra work to record a game. Which I could always try for. I could always just post it and it's like, hey, anyone want to, like, just record a Commander game? Alley. There's nothing, like, against the rules of it, as long as you have everyone's, like, consent to record. There shouldn't be anything wrong with it. I remember actually for a while there, I was recording every game I was in, not for the purposes of uploading them anywhere, but just in case someone started to be like a jerk to me, I have evidence of it. That mostly started back when I played Among Us on Discord servers, and there'd always be someone who, you know, starts spewing slurs out of nowhere. And I'd report them to the mods, and they'd be like, oh, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything bad. And the mod's like, well, if you don't have any proof of it, all I can do is say, like, oh, you better not do it. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I have evidence. It's like, yeah, I can send you a thing. And I had, like, a Discord overlay thing that could, like... I had a Discord overlay thing for OBS, so it would light up the person who's talking. And just like, yeah, here's, like, the last 5 minutes of footage. You can see their name is lighting up when their voice is saying, like, all these slurs. So you can tell that, yeah, they are the ones who are saying these things. And Mars like, oh, hey, thank you. And then the person would be banned from the server. And, you know, probably go on to their friends to complain that they got banned, even though they didn't say anything bad, and their friend because they actually don't think that saying slurs is a bad thing and that they should be completely fine to be allowed to say whatever they want because they are them and they are the main character in their own lives, even though they are, strictly speaking, not the main character in everyone's lives. But, I mean, that's just the thing, though, right? Every individual is the main character of their own life. And the main character is allowed to get away with things that other people are not. And we really have to stop that mentality. Because it is really, really dangerous, actually. But nobody cares. Yeah, what if I just started uploading? Because I wanted to start like a proper like Commander channel thing, where the individual games have like special. Because like, oh well, everyone does Commander content. What do you do that makes your Commander content like special and different from everyone else? And it's like, well, yeah, what is it? So many people just run like basic regular old Commander games, and it's like, okay, well, these people have high production values, these people just crank out a whole bunch of games. Like, what would my thing be? And like, my thing is pretty much all of my decks are stupid. One of my commanders is a motorcycle, and I love her. So, I don't know, maybe next time I go to play some nice casual commander, I could show that off. And of course, that's in the living room, so there'd be echo again. But I mean, it's all well and good. It's content. That's the thing about being a YouTuber. Everything's got to be for content. You gotta have all that extra content over and over and over again. Everything you do, you have to think about, okay, but how do I make content out of this? And can I be content with this content? Like, I can't just play a game normally with a friend. It's like, oh, hey, can we record this? And there is definitely, like, oh yeah, playing this Minecraft mod pack with Azura. I wanted to record our time playing it, but most of our time playing it, it's not over voice chat, and at the last minute I decide, nah, I won't record it. Maybe I should have been. Maybe I could have started posting that as semi-daily. Yeah, and you can enjoy the, like, 10 episodes in a row of us trying to build a Guardian farm. Because, oh my gosh, we spent so much time on that. Yeah, of course, it's a mod pack, so things are definitely different from how they are in vanilla, and I wanted to use a minecart with Hopper to pick up the goods, instead of using, like, just, like, you know, thousands of hoppers. One, because it would be easier to make, you know, thousands of rails in a one minecart with Hopper, as opposed to thousands of hoppers. But as it turns out, when some of the Guardians die, they drop bees in the space underneath them, which is where the minecart with Hopper is supposed to go. So it keeps getting blocked because of bees. Yeah, we, you know, went underneath the place in crawl mode, so we are, you know, crawling along very slowly, trying to figure out what is going on. And there was literally over 100, there were literally over 100 bees in there. Alright. At least I got an extra mining level out of this. Woohoo! Only 9 to go. And what is it? Yeah. Have my Steam wish list. Game goes on sale. Vibe. Every so often I go on Steam and just look up. It's like, okay, games on sale, Metroidvanias, roguelites, RPGs. Individually, not all three at once. It's like, okay. It's like, this one looks interesting and it's cheap. Buy it, play it. Buy it, download it, start playing. And like, Metroidvanias are obviously like my thing. Wait a second. Is Magic the Gathering a Metroidvania? Because like, as you advance... No, it's not. No, it's not. It's like, as you advance in the game, you get access to stuff that you didn't already have, like, available to you. Like, it's still like doing, like, MTG, like, you know, Magic the Gathering, like, as a role-playing game. Yeah. People have been trying to make, like, the Magic, power level thing actually work for, like, ages. And someone posts, like, a whole thing of, like, what each power level is supposed to represent and stuff. It's like, oh, turns out that my deck that is, like, that people have said is CEDH is actually, like, a 6, according to this. It's like, huh. I mean, like, nobody can agree as to what power levels actually are in games, especially since the power of a deck can very well be decided on the luck of the draw. Like, someone could happen to play a game with, you know... I keep forgetting the name of the card. There's a 2-mana Merfolk, costs blue, and basically, when it ETBs, trigger on the stack, yeah, when it ATBs, if your library is empty, you win the game. It's the important thing. Some Merfolk, whatever. And there's a black card, an instant, costs 1 mana, and it's basically exile your library. That, essentially, whatever. So for 3 mana, someone could, you know, play both of these and just win the game. And in fact, yeah, people do that in CDH all the time. They, you know, look for these cards, hold on to a bunch of counter spells, cast a Merfolk, ETB on the stack, cast a black spell, exile their library. If anyone has responses, they use the counter spell. Someone could run both of those cards in a deck with no tutors and, like, no counter spells, just happen to get both of those in the opening hand, and then turn 3 win the game. It's like, does that automatically make that deck CDH? So just because they happen to win. Or, like, you know, someone could be playing, like, a precon and just go turn 1, like, land, Soaring, Arcane Signet, turn 2, you know, another land, somehow put out something, win the game turn 2. I'm sure there's a precon that can wind up somehow winning the game with 5 mana on turn 2. Even though I don't think that they'd be reprinting either of those earlier cards mentioned in a precon, the Merfolk or the other spell. But I mean, like, still, and it's like, oh, is that CDH because they won on turn 2? Like, I have a commander deck, casual deck, whatever, 5 or 6 maybe, since we're going with power levels, that I think could technically win. I think it's as early as turn 2, I think it was. Turn 2, maybe turn 3. If the top, like, 12 cards of the deck were exactly perfect. I don't exactly remember what it was, but it's essentially, you know, land, solving, signet, uh, I don't know. I don't remember it exactly, but somehow get out an extra mana, put out like swam whenever you cast an equipment or you draw a card. Turn 2, 7 mana, play Approach with the Second Sun. First time it resolves in the game, you put it 7th from the top. Second time it resolves in the game, if you cast it from your hand, you win the game. Get a bunch of 0-cost equipment, boom, 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 drop back into Approach of the Second Sun. Turn 3, untap your mana, draw it, cast Approach of the Second Sun. Win the game turn 3. Is that deck suddenly CDH? Because theoretically it can win turn 3? Like... Still think Approach of the Second Sun is a kind of stupid card as far as cards go, because, like... Wins... people should be able to interact with effects that win the game, other than just, oh, I counter your spell. Like, Crater Hoof, if you have, you know, enough creatures out where Crater Hoof can win the game for you, someone could just cast a Fog. Or someone could have, you know, creatures with banding. Or, you know, or if someone just had, like, a million tokens, they could block whatever power you could throw at them, kind of thing. Like, there are a few ways to survive from, like, a Crater Hoof. But, like, Approach of the Second Sun being cast for the second time, and this time from the hand? Counterspell. That's it. Counterspell or flashing out Platinum Angel. Also, yes, I have played CDH games where someone has tried to win the game using that, the Merfolk card, and once the library is empty, I go, okay, cool, in response, I flash out a Platinum Angel, and they couldn't counterspell my Angel, so they were just stuck with 0 cards in their library. I also remember a really funny instance once, where someone, you know, I'd wait for them to exile their whole library, then, you know, use some creatures so I could try to win in response to them winning. And they were like, oh, you have... It's like, oh, you can only flash out stuff because you're commander? Well, I'll cast a dress down to make all creatures vanilla. It's like, hey, when that enters the battlefield, you draw a card, too. So you'll die, your card will go away, and I'll still be able to win. That's why I wait for them to have no more library. Or, like, they had no library left, and I had a couple mana open, and just, oh yeah, I pay 2 and tap Mikokoro, Center of the Sea. It's a land that when I pay 2 and tap it, each player draws a card, so your library's empty, yo. That's not a lab maniac you have out. So they were just immediately forced to lose the game right away there. I had fun with that, or... Yeah, or in one game they had out a card where if an opponent would draw a card other than the first card they draw on each of their draw steps, or I think it's other than the first card they draw for turn, whatever. Like, they skip that draw and you draw a card instead, so I just activate a land that would make me draw a card, but since they had Notion Thief, that's it. Since they had a Notion Thief out, they would draw the card, but since the library's empty, they lose the game. Like, yeah, even that win, 2 cards, 3 mana win, can still be interacted with. Approach of the Second Sun, basically, you see them cast it the first time, and you know you have a little bit of time to go before they, you know, get their 7th card, and cast it again. You could try to destroy their mana so they don't have enough to cast again. You could try to, you know, mill them enough to mill out that specific card. You could try to hold up a counter spell. Because if people are casting Approach of the Second Sun, it's not like they're actually drawing it in 7 turns. Heck, you could try to use one of the effects that forces an opponent to search their library so they have to shuffle and just hope that the card goes deeper into their library. I still think that the card would definitely have been better, as in more fair type of better, if it didn't go into the library after resolving. If it was just like, nope, yeah, nope, just goes to the graveyard. If you're playing like standard or something where you can have 4 copies of it, then sure, draw another copy, cast it, win the game. If you're playing commander, get it back somehow, yo. Or just cast it from the graveyard. Sure, yeah, there are ways to cast. So, well, yeah, cast it from the graveyard, but that doesn't count because the second cast specifically has to be from your hand. So, ha ha ha. It's about, what, month and a half-ish away, another commander event going on. It's at least in Alberta, so going to there. I should see about, like, more, like, Alberta-related events to go to. I could go to Calgary for a convention. Could even potentially convince, nobody tell her, but I mixed up her name. I almost called her Aurora. It's like, no, Azura. So maybe I can convince Aurora to go. Wait a second. That's not a human. That's not a human name. Because Azura the Good Witch from the Owl House, and it's like, even though she didn't name herself after the character from the Owl House, because she had, yeah. When I say name herself, that's the name that she wants to be referred to online. Just like how I have my online names. MRS Plays and Vanillion. People who only know me online tend to know me as Vanillion. People who know me from my YouTube channel know me as MRS Plays, or Mrs. Plays. Or, in Ellie's case, Miss Plays. Is this exciting? Alright, all of these are specifically just one. Wasn't... Yeah, Rune Factory 4 it actually increases, like, the radius so you can chomp down more ground like that. But I want this stuff to spawn stuff, maybe. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Woohoo, level 91. Yeah. I haven't even been watching any, like, super cool anime lately, or nothing. Well, I'd say that. I watched, Has-Been Hotel. The finale of that finally came out. Saw that. It was awesome. Well, it was at least good. I liked it. And it looks like they're having 2 seasons, but they did a weird thing where they're actually, like, it's actually meant to be, like, one 16-episode season, but they split up to, like, 2 8-episode seasons. And, like, people online are complaining that the show, like, was paced way too quickly, but it's, like, it's 8 episodes to tell a season of story. Like, most shows could get, like, 22 episodes. So it's like, basically, each one of these episodes is essentially 3 episodes condensed into 1. It makes sense they try to cover 3 times as much plot. And frankly, I didn't even think it was, like, super fast-paced or anything. I think that other shows are too slow. Although, to be fair, I did watch some Saki K, and with that show, like, you turn away for 5 seconds, you miss, like, 3 plots. Everything in that show is so snap, snap, snap fast. It's actually kind of ridiculous, and I like it. I should totally do some more VR recording, but there really just haven't been any good for recording VR games. Because there's a difference between a game that is just good and a game that's actually good for recording. And I almost feel like Baldur's Gate is maybe, like, it's iffy on that. Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't seem to necessarily be that great for recording, especially if you play, as apparently most people do, save the game before any instance where you might have to, you know, roll dice, and then just keep reloading until you hit a success. And then it's essentially, you know, you succeed in every check, but you succeed in every check, except except it takes extra time. That's the except. And like farming simulator games like Harvest Moon and Rune Factory are also not super great for recording, but Rune Factory is better than Harvest Moon because Harvest Moon definitely has more of the do the same thing over and over again vibe. Whereas at least with Rune Factory, there's more stuff that you can do over and over again. Like you can go and fight monsters. So there's at least more to it. Even if it does get very repetitive and samey very quickly and easily. Yeah. So yeah, probably won't be until, what, winter when the clovers will actually have grown. 60 days, yikes. But why though? Yeah, Rune Factory 4. Just keep the field topped up at ×5 speed. And just ensure that you can just very easily ensure that it's like 12 days instead of bloody 60. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's just the thing. Want to do a whole lot of recording, so I have a lot of stuff recorded. Yeah. So many games, so much time, so little incentive to play any of them. New Ratchet, new? Maybe it's still new as whatever. Ratchet and Clank games on sale on Steam, considering just getting it, just playing through a whole extra Ratchet and Clank game. Those went okay. Trying to think if I ever actually did any specific challenge on the Ratchet and Clank games. I think it was all just casual ones. I don't know what it is about challenge runs. I like doing challenge runs. I want to do more challenge runs of games. There's something about playing a game, like, not in the way that was intended that I find really fun. Like, you know, because a lot of games at a baseline are incredibly easy. Like, you know, Minecraft, Rune Factory. And like, yeah, so incredibly easy, in fact, that people, you know, speedrun them just to have any sort of a challenge. I'm not a speedrunner. I can't handle the stress of trying to speedrun. But when I do find that a game is incredibly easy, it does get incredibly boring. Playing a game with a challenge gives an extra incentive to want to play through the game, to see where you can go with it, what you can do with it, and all of that. So, like, you know, Rune Factory watering can only, like, I'm looking forward to playing Rune Factory 5 watering can only. That will probably be really interesting to do. Yeah, maybe the same sentiment goes into other categories like deck building. It's like, okay, build a deck, but don't use any of the, like, these super expensive cards that people put in every commander deck, because those are kind of lame. It's like, okay. Yeah, I don't use the normal expensive cards, but I include stuff like the $250 Eureka, have that in a deck. I just get my hands on a copy, and I decided to make it everyone's problem. If I'm moving, I can't use the button to swap screens. That's weird. Yeah, I really should just, like, look through my entire Steam library, just find, you know, every game on there that I haven't beaten, and then just start beating them. Just maybe have that be a thing instead of just doing nothing all day. Just go through and try to beat a game each day. That might be a lot. Try to beat a game every other day. I mean, the primary factor is play 3 hours, you know, do 3 hours worth of recording every day. Probably gonna go do some, like, Magic Craft later. 44.59. Probably gonna do some Magic Craft later. Upload that for Friday, because that worked out so well. Egg. Was it the Enchanted Cave 2? I don't think I managed to beat. I do want to beat it. The issue is I get, like, super far down into the cave, and then I, like, die and I lose all of my progress. Especially in, like, the latest run I was trying to do, where, like, I get to, like, floor 20 or something, and there's always, like, a person there like, hey, please give me your wings, or else I'll die. And it's like, well, I can't just not do that. So I give them my wings, It's like, okay, gotta be really careful. If I can find more wings, I should probably think about escaping. And then I get to like floor 27, still can't find any wings despite looking at every chest that could possibly give me new wings. And I just can't keep going through. And then I just die. Again and again and again. And it's like, why will the game just never give me these wings again? Wonder how easy it is to get the achievement of, like, beat the game on your first run. Yeah, beat the whole game in, yeah, in the first, like, entry to the dungeon. I really kind of want to do that. You know, probably just, like, read a walkthrough of it or something. Yeah, I'd be so down to do some, like, magic off, because, like I said, that one is easy to record. Noita! Decent easy. What else am I doing? Record some Rune, that's fun. Record more and... The issue is with some games, there's a definitive end that I'm working towards. Like, yeah, even this game, there's an ending. Baldur's Gate 3, I think, has multiple endings. With a lot of games, there are definitive endings that I have been working towards. And then there's something like, say, Magicraft, where there is no specific ending. Like, the closest to an ending of that is unlock all of the available content, get enough of the jewels stuff that I can start off with everything maxed, and get enough of the blood to unlock every, like, class and upgrade them all and all that. And that's essentially what I'm working towards on that. So I guess if I get that much, it would count as getting everything. So I have that much to work towards. Yes, let's go to the school. Probably shouldn't have done that, actually. And... item did not actually get put in. It just flat out got tossed, even though I used it when facing the fridge. It was not good enough. Alright, cool. Let's go to the island. I am my level 93. Wow. Oh, right. I've already watered everything. And then I ran away to go and try to get all this stuff done. Come on. Water all the rest of everything. Everything's fine with that. Gosh, yeah, played through an entire game, but at, like, double speed. You know, a game is darn well slow-paced when double speed starts feeling about right. See, I should go and record more stuff. Still don't know what, but I know there's a lot more to get recorded. A lot of demos to see if it's worth buying the full game for, and a lot of games that I thought were buying the full game. I thought were worth buying the full game for. Hopefully the next episode I remember to actually go up to the winter area to collect the extra energies. Since it's going to be 2 days until I record that, I'm probably going to forget, but you know what? Such is life, right? Yeah, nothing wrong. I'm sure everything is going to be just fine. Oh, also tomorrow, hopefully, I'll finally get to have my new backpack, and, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, because I don't have, like, a convention or anything major to go to, or, you know, friends locally to show it off to, but I'm at least going to hopefully maybe get the new bag, so that's gonna be cool. Maybe I should go down to a local game day or something. Find some local people who play Magic with, and make another new local Magic group. That could be fun, actually. No, well,